A verse-by-verse study in the Book of Colossians, ESV, with Irv Risch. Survey of Colossians. Book type, Pauline Epistle, also one of Paul's prison epistles, 12th book of the New Testament. Author, the Apostle Paul and Timothy, directly named in Colossians 1 verse 1. Audience, Colossians is one of 4 prison epistles written by the Apostle Paul during his first Roman imprisonment. This was a period of house arrest around AD 60 to 62. During this time, Paul also wrote Ephesians, Philippians, and Philemon. The city of Colossae was about 100 miles east of Ephesus in modern-day Turkey. Christianity may have reached this city during Paul's mission work in Ephesus, Acts 19 verse 10. However, Epaphras was the person noted for the major growth of the church in the city. Paul knew some of the Christians in the area, Colossians 2 verse 1, but it was his connection with Epaphras that let him know the condition of the church, Philemon 1 verse 23. Multiple themes are packed in the short letter of Colossians. False teachings such as Jewish legalism, blending of religions, Greek philosophy, and mysticism are decried by Paul. He mentions food, special days, Colossians 2 verse 16, those who worshipped angels, Colossians 2 verse 18, and ascetic practices. Paul speaks against such false teachings in this letter, affirming that Christ alone is sufficient as the basis for the believer's faith and life. Date, approximately AD 60 to 62, during Paul's first Roman imprisonment, Colossians 4 verse 18. Overview. This 4-chapter letter focuses on Paul's teachings regarding the deity of Jesus, Colossians 1 verses 15 to 20, Colossians 2 verses 2 to 10, as well as key areas such as forgiveness and the nature of the church. Paul also strongly condemns various false teachings in chapter 2. Chapter 1 includes a greeting, Colossians 1 verses 1 to 2, followed by gratitude for the faith of the Colossian Christians, Colossians 1 verses 3 to 8. Paul then includes a prayer intended to encourage the growth and maturity of believers in this city, Colossians 1 verses 9 to 14. The letter then transitions to a focus on Christ's greatness, including his character, Colossians 1 verses 15 to 23, and notes regarding Paul's own ministry, Colossians 1 verses 24 to 29. Chapter 2 addresses various false teachings which were threatening the Colossian believers. These include ungodly philosophy, Colossians 2 verses 1 to 10, Jewish legalism, Colossians 2 verses 11 to 17, mysticism, Colossians 2 verses 18 to 19, and ascetic living, Colossians 2 verses 20 to 23. Chapter 3 transitions to practical matters within the church. First, Paul addresses topics related to Christian conduct, Colossians 3 verses 1 to 17. Second, he addresses Christian households, including bondservants or slaves, Colossians 3:18-1. Chapter 4 focuses on 2 major themes. First, Paul discusses how a Christian speaks, Colossians 4 verses 2 to 6. Finally, he presents concluding remarks, addressed to his many friends, Colossians 4 verses 7 to 18. Key verses. Colossians 1 verses 15 to 16, he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him. Colossians 2 verse 8, see to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. Colossians 3 verses 12 to 13, put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another and, if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other, as the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. Colossians 4 verses 5 to 6, walk in wisdom toward outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. End of the survey of Colossians. Please note: the material use in this video is from BibleRef.com, which is from Got Questions Ministries and is posted here to be read by immersive reader in the Edge browser. If you copy this material, please follow these rules. Content from BibleRef.com may not be used for any commercial purposes, or as part of any commercial work, without explicit prior written consent from Got Questions Ministries. Any use of our material should be properly credited. Please make it clear the content is from BibleRef.com. BibleRef.com content may not be altered, modified, or otherwise changed unless such changes are specifically noted.